2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra info in the description. I figured I'd say this one because a lot of people were getting a lot out of this quote on Instagram. So, smoking weed is forcing or raping, because rape is force. You're raping your body into parasympathetic nervous system. So instead of just raping yourself into it, you can just do 1 tumo breath per minute for 20 minutes. And you'll switch nervous systems. Or even 2 breaths per minute for 20 minutes. So you can switch into parasympathetic without that rape. People are smoking to relax, which is with the parasympathetic nervous system, the effects of it are relaxation and clarity. So the smoking makes your breath shallow and rapid, so your endocrine system releases these endorphins to detox the weed, which is what gives you the high. You are the drug. And then the body's breath rhythm isn't in rhythm with the breath pattern needed to maintain steady parasympathetic mode. So the endorphin clip is getting emptied, like I said. But the body is breathing shallow and in alignment with the sympathetic mode, the fight or flight mode. So the software isn't aligned with the hardware, and thus the thoughts and feelings, the software, the metaphysics, don't align with what the body is currently feeling or receiving from the light spectrum or the energy spectrum. Again, so the software isn't aligned with the hardware, so the thoughts and feelings don't align with what the body is feeling in this moment, what it's receiving from this moment. So you're in your visual, you're in your crystallized, or you're crystallizing thoughts and looping them. So this is why people can be totally safe and have panic thoughts. The breath and the body are not aligned. So people like to smoke the weed because the smoke hits the upper chakras, the lungs and the brain. It hits that directly. It locks the blood in these areas because the blood is what heals and detoxes everything. So the blood is rushing to those areas. And like motor oil, it is, and the mucous membrane and the blood are being used to detox and recirculate the garbage and get it out of there. So when the THC crystals, the burnt THC crystals, hit your blood, they amplify the light in the blood. And if that blood is the light essentially. So if the blood is mainly rushed to the brain for repair already, then the consciousness is going to go to that area of the body because blood is essentially liquid consciousness. This keeps a person in their imagination more easily because the amplified blood makes visual thoughts more vivid. So you got those crystals in your blood making the light way more amplified, and so your visual thoughts are just way more clear. This makes trance extremely easy because you can visualize things more clearly because you're in parasympathetic. And that's more so the right brain. Right brain controls the visual thoughts. This is why people get high and consume, whether it be substances or media. Because when a visual thought is clear, it crystallizes into reality much more efficiently. Most people use this visual power to manifest carnal desires and distractions, which drive the blood into digestion or the sex organs. This leaves the smoke-damaged brain, lungs, and lymphatic system as a whole with less circulation. So there's more phlegm being produced because the cells are exposed, because the areas are dry and then the mucus can't flow and stick to the garbage to purge it. So the cells are exposed, so now the body has to make even more mucus to try to stick to this garbage because the mucus isn't flowing because the area is dehydrated. And then the mucus begins to calcify into snot. If you repeat this cycle, it calcifies into plaque and hardens. And it's mucoid plaques in your lungs and all over your body. All the things that create plaque on your teeth, they're creating that plaque the whole way down. On your teeth, on your lungs, or where that's, the smoke is creating that acid, that dehydration, that mucus is getting created to purge all the garbage. And if you're eating garbage that creates plaque, that plaque is being created throughout the whole GI, the whole gastrointestinal tract. So when the blood goes south to digestion or to the sex organs, the consciousness shifts in respect to that. This creates a constant yo-yoing, an extreme pendulum of desire where the person pivots from desire trance to carnal pleasure, which creates numbness, and then it expands the need for more, because the more numb you are, the more you need, just like any drug. This locks the person's consciousness out of the moment the breath is blocked. The breath brings the consciousness. So when the breath not in alignment with the body is not in the moment. It's in a trance at that point. And with impaired breathing coupled with loop trance, the person is totally available for parasites or psychic attack, what have you. But sadly, the person is so decapitated spiritually, typically, they don't even inhabit most of their body, and the body identifies with the parrots as its government. So then the body claims to enjoy these processes as a defense mechanism for ignoring the severity of the situation and remaining uncomfortably numb. So the body, again, is taking orders because there's only one voice in the body. And if a parasite grabs the microphone, essentially, that's what's going on here, then the body just listens to it. So parasites, again, are being created from a concept that you're attaching to. You have an identity that you're attached to, and that identity is from a misalignment. If you look at it from the tree of life, for instance, if you were in enforcer mode your whole life, and you're constantly in enforcement mode, and you're constantly forcing things, then your blood is in the liver, and in the tree of life, they would say the Harakuti level, the enforcing level. So you've identified with that level of the house, and you consider that to be pretty much the whole house, and the blood is welling up in that area, and all the areas that are before that or above that, however you want to look at it, they're being neglected. All that area is not being occupied and inhabited in the body. So that something is going to occupy it, inhabit it, and use it. Nothing goes to waste in this closed environment, this perfect environment that we live in. Everything's connected. Everything segues into the next thing. So the concept is created. The emotional and mental concept is attached to. And then the body has that identity. And then if a parasite manifests in the liver or in the physical area, then it's an even deeper parasite, because the concept is a parasite itself. The body is a parasite. It's a parallel site. It's what the awareness is looking through. So the awareness has become parallel with the sight. Parasite. That's the awareness coming parallel with the sight to look through it. Now, if the body itself isn't in alignment and you're in a lower rung on the tree of life, or lower rung in the body, however you want to look at it, then that area is where the concepts or the identities are created from. If the blood is liquid consciousness is blood, if that's all at a low area of the body, then your concepts and your ideas of who you are come from that area of the body, and then everything that vibrates on that level is communicating with you on that level. So any what you want to call ancestry or whatever, what have you, that's vibrating at that level, that can all come through as a parallel site. It's all looking through that. You can call it a cell, basically. It's all in that room, in that level of your body, in that room in your body. Or if you look at it like an elevator, it's on that floor. So if you're operating from that floor, everything on that floor has access to the microphone. So it's really just about the alignment and cycling the blood through the whole system and keeping a constant cycling or circulation of blood through the brain to the tailbone constantly, to where it's evenly distributed blood throughout the system consistently. There's no numb spots. There's no cold spots. There's complete homeostasis in the whole being. So then there's full consciousness, full spectrum view. You have, again, the light spectrum is observed from within. You're experiencing the light spectrum from within. You're seeing with your brain. You're experiencing from your brain. You live inside of that. Everything, and even this life itself is inside of that. It's a cell, however you want to look at it. So the misidentifications are coming from the alignment. And then those misidentifications create psychosis a lot of the time, and that just perpetuates and gives more momentum to that echelon of consciousness and everything that resides on that echelon of consciousness. And that's how you can have parallel sites coming through. And it's all, the cells have been trained by that government and that level for so long, the body is automatically moving in those rhythms. And you have to just constantly change the breath pattern to get the whole body on a different accord to where it's in alignment. And you no longer want to suffocate, and you want full spectrum breath throughout the whole system. Full spectrum awareness, full light spectrum awareness. And, smoking is a direct attack on the breath, obviously. So it's really coming down to that, the government. How much who's governing the cells? How much of the cells do you occupy? And the areas that you don't occupy, that is the external government. That creates the external government. Our forfeited potential and forfeited energy, forfeited consciousness, forfeited space in the body is what produces the government collectively. That's how it's created. So this is what smoking is doing. It's keeping people in this looped trance. Because again, it forces you into parasympathetic. So now you're easily in trance. You're easily in that visual. You're not really in the moment. So then you crystallize whatever it is that you're going through in trance and bring that into the moment consistently looping and looping and looping and breaking the energy, breaking the breath, and then the false identification just crystallizes. So it's the calcification, being locked in or locked out of your own body, your own prism. 2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. The whole PDF package, you can get 40 PDFs, 3 audiobooks, 5 premium videos for $100. Or email me, the email's in the description.